Casemiro confirmed to leave Man United. The end of an era and what happens next. Welcome to United Daily Updates, the channel that brings you the real story behind every Manchester United headline. If you are watching for the first time, hit that subscribe button right now because we are the most trusted source for honest United news and analysis. We do not sugarcoat things and we do not hide from difficult topics. Today we need to talk about something huge. Manchester United have officially confirmed that Casemiro will leave the club at the end of this season. This is not a rumor anymore. This is official. And it changes everything. The club made the announcement on January 22nd and it sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Casemiro has been such a massive part of this team since he arrived. And now we know for certain that his time at Old Trafford is coming to an end. We have 4 months left with one of the greatest defensive midfielders of his generation. So let us break down what this means, why it is happening, and what United need to do next. The question that will define United's summer. How do you replace a legend? That is the challenge facing Manchester United right now. Casemiro is not just any player. He is a 5-time Champions League winner. He is one of the most decorated midfielders in football history. And United have just 4 months to figure out how to fill the massive hole he will leave behind. Can they do it? What actually happened? Let me give you the facts straight from the source. Manchester United posted an official announcement on their social media on January 22nd. They confirmed that Casemiro will leave the club at the end of the 2025-26 season when his contract expires. The club statement was respectful and grateful. They called him a serial winner. They thanked him for his contributions. They said they hope to finish his time at the club on a high. It was the kind of announcement you make for a player who has meant a lot to the club. Casemiro also released his own statement. And honestly, it was emotional to read. He said he will carry Manchester United with him throughout his entire life. He talked about feeling the passion of Old Trafford from his first day. He spoke about the love he shares with United supporters. But he also made something very clear. He is not leaving yet. There are still 4 months of the season left. He said it is not time to say goodbye because there are many more memories to create. He promised that his complete focus will remain on giving everything to help the club succeed. That is exactly what you want to hear from a player in this situation. No checked-out performances. No coasting through his final months. Just full commitment until the very end. Looking back at Casemiro's United career. Casemiro joined Manchester United in late summer 2022. The transfer came quite late in the window and took a lot of people by surprise. United paid Real Madrid £60 million plus another £10 million in potential add-ons. That is serious money for a player who was 30 years old at the time. But United were desperate. The midfield had been a problem for years. Fred and McTominay were not good enough. The team had no defensive stability in the middle of the park. They needed someone with experience, quality, and leadership. Casemiro ticked all those boxes. Since joining United, Casemiro has made 146 appearances. That is a lot of games in less than 3 full seasons. He has scored 21 goals, which is excellent for a defensive midfielder. But more importantly, he brought something to the team that had been missing for years. He brought Champions League pedigree. He brought winning experience. He brought leadership and organization. He brought that ability to control the tempo of games and break up opposition attacks. In his first season especially, he was absolutely brilliant. Casemiro played a huge part in United winning the League Cup in 2023. That was the club's first trophy in years and it mattered so much. He was also key to winning the FA Cup in 2024. 2 trophies in his first 2 seasons. Not bad at all. But it has not all been smooth sailing. This season in particular, Casemiro has struggled at times. His legs are not what they used to be. He gets caught out of position more often. He picks up too many bookings trying to recover from mistakes. There have been games where he has genuinely cost United points. Yet even now, even at 33 going on 34, Casemiro can still produce big performances. Look at the Manchester derby just a few days ago. United beat City 2-0 and Casemiro was excellent. He won his battles. He controlled the midfield. He showed why he is still so important to this team. That is the complicated truth about Casemiro right now. He is not the player he was in his prime. But on his day, he is still better than most of the alternatives United have. Why this is happening now? The timing of this announcement is interesting. United have confirmed it in January, 4 months before the season ends. Why now? Why not wait until closer to the summer? The simple answer is that Casemiro's contract expires at the end of this season. By announcing it now, United are being transparent. They are letting everyone know what the situation is. No more speculation. No more rumors. Just clarity. It also allows United to plan properly. They now have 4 months to identify targets for the summer. 4 months to do their scouting and recruitment work. 4 months to figure out who can replace Casemiro and how much it will cost. From Casemiro's perspective, this announcement probably brings some relief too. The speculation can stop. He does not have to answer questions about his future every single week. He can just focus on playing football and finishing his United career on a high. There is probably also a financial element to this. Casemiro is on huge wages. Absolutely massive. United will save a fortune when his contract expires. That money can be used to bring in new players or balance the books. In the era of financial fair play, that matters. The emotional side of this news. Let us talk about how this feels as United fans. Because numbers and tactics and contracts are one thing, but emotions are another. Casemiro has been a fan favorite since day one. When he signed, there was genuine excitement. Finally, United were signing the type of player they needed. A proven winner. A world-class talent. Someone who had done it at the very highest level. That first season was magical. Watching Casemiro dominate midfields. Watching him win the ball back over and over again. Watching him score important goals. It felt like United finally had that anchor in midfield that they had been missing since the days of Carrick and Fletcher. Yes, this season has been tougher. Yes, there have been frustrating performances. But you do not forget what a player has given you. Casemiro helped United win 2 trophies. He gave us some incredible moments. He showed up in big games when we needed him most. Reading his statement about carrying Manchester United with him for his entire life hit hard. You can tell he genuinely loves this club. You can tell it has meant something to him to wear the shirt. That is rare these days when so many players treat clubs like just another step in their career. So yes, this news is sad. Even if we knew it was coming eventually. Even if we can all see he is not at his peak anymore. It is still the end of an era. It is still saying goodbye to someone who gave a lot to this club. What this means for the rest of the season. Now let us think practically about what happens over the next 4 months. Casemiro is still here. He is still available. The question is, how much should he play? Michael Carrick has a difficult decision to make. Does he continue to use Casemiro regularly because of his experience and quality? Or does he start giving more minutes to younger players who will still be here next season? The sensible approach is probably somewhere in the middle. Use Casemiro for the big games. The matches against Arsenal, Liverpool, City. The important fixtures where his experience and leadership matter most. Rest him for games against weaker opposition where younger players can step up. This could actually be good for Casemiro too. If he plays less frequently, he can stay fresher. His legs will not be as tired. When he does play, he might be able to perform at a higher level. It is about managing his minutes carefully. There is also an emotional element to consider. These are Casemiro's final months at Manchester United. Every home game at Old Trafford is one step closer to his last. The fans will want to show their appreciation. They will want to give him the send-off he deserves. If United can win something this season, it would be the perfect ending. Imagine Casemiro lifting another trophy at Old Trafford. Imagine him finishing his United career as a winner. That would be special. That would be the farewell he has earned. The massive hole he leaves behind. Let us be brutally honest about the situation United face. Losing Casemiro creates an enormous problem. The midfield was already United's weakest area. Now their most experienced midfielder is leaving. That makes a bad situation even worse. Who do United currently have in defensive midfield? Manuel Ugarte, who has struggled badly to adapt to English football. Kobbie Mainoo, who is talented but only 20 years old and still developing. That is basically it. That is not enough for a club with United's ambitions. Casemiro brought things that are very hard to replace. The experience of winning 5 Champions Leagues. The know-how of playing in the biggest games. The leadership and organization. The ability to control matches. Finding another player with all of those qualities is incredibly difficult. And it is not just about defensive work. Despite being primarily a defensive midfielder, Casemiro scored 21 goals for United. That is a significant contribution. He had that ability to arrive late in the box and score important goals. How many defensive midfielders can do that? The hole he leaves is technical, tactical, and emotional. United need to find a player who can defend, who can pass, who can lead, who can handle pressure, who can perform in big games. That is a very specific profile, and those players do not grow on trees. What United need to do in the summer? This brings us to the most important question. What does Manchester United do this summer to replace Casemiro? Because this is not optional. This is not something they can ignore or put off. This has to be a top priority. United need to sign at least one defensive midfielder. Probably two if we are being realistic. The squad simply does not have enough quality or depth in that position. One injury to whoever they bring in and United are back to square one. The profile of player they need is quite specific. Ideally someone in their mid-20s. Old enough to have experience but young enough to be here for 5 or 6 years. Someone who can defend at a high level but also contribute going forward. Someone with leadership qualities who can organize those around them. Names like Elliot Anderson and Adam Wharton have been mentioned as targets. Both are young English midfielders with huge potential. But they would cost massive money. We are talking 60, 70, maybe even £80 million. Are United willing to spend that kind of money? There are also questions about whether United can attract the very best midfield talents. Champions League football is not guaranteed for next season. Other big clubs will be competing for the same players. United might have to convince players to join a project rather than offering guaranteed success. This is where smart recruitment becomes absolutely crucial. United cannot afford another expensive mistake. They cannot sign the wrong player and waste £70 million. They need to get this right because the entire balance of the team depends on it. The financial impact. Let us talk money for a minute because it matters. Casemiro is reportedly on wages of around £350,000 per week. That is absolutely massive money. Over a year, that works out to more than £18 million just in wages. When his contract expires, United save all of that money. That is a huge amount freed up for the wage bill. It gives them room to sign new players without breaking financial fair play rules. It gives them flexibility they did not have before. But here is the catch. To replace Casemiro properly, United will need to spend big. A top young defensive midfielder will cost £60 to £80 million in transfer fees. They will also want wages of probably £150,000 to £200,000 per week. So while United save on Casemiro's wages, they immediately spend a chunk of that on his replacement. The advantage is that they will be investing in a younger player who holds value. If United sign a 24-year-old midfielder, that player should still be worth good money in 5 years' time. Casemiro at 34 has no resale value at all. From a financial perspective, that makes sense. United also have the advantage of time. They know this is coming. They can plan their summer budget around it. They can identify targets early. They can negotiate before the market gets crazy. That is much better than scrambling for emergency signings. How this affects other transfer plans. Casemiro leaving does not just impact the defensive midfield position. It affects United's entire summer transfer strategy. Here is why. If United need to spend £70 or £80 million on a defensive midfielder, that is less money available for other positions. Maybe they wanted to sign a striker or a winger or another defender. Now that might have to wait because the midfield is the urgent priority. This is why proper planning is so important. United need to prioritize their spending. What is the most important position to address? Defensive midfield has to be number one now. Everything else comes after that. There is also the question of squad size and balance. If United bring in 2 new midfielders to replace Casemiro, do they need to sell other midfielders to make room? Does someone like Scott McTominay leave to free up wages and squad space? These decisions all connect to each other. The Wilfred Ndidi situation we talked about earlier takes on new significance now. If United sign Ndidi in January as a short-term option, does that reduce the urgency to spend huge money in the summer? Or do they still need to go big for a long-term solution? These are complicated questions with no easy answers. What Casemiro does next? Let us think about Casemiro's future beyond Manchester United. Where does a 34-year-old midfielder go when he leaves one of the biggest clubs in the world? The obvious answer is Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Pro League has been throwing enormous money at aging stars. Casemiro could probably earn twice what he makes at United by going there. The wages would be astronomical. The lifestyle would be comfortable. And he could still play at a decent level. There is also the possibility of going back to Brazil. Casemiro is Brazilian and many players return home at the end of their European careers. He could join a big club like Flamengo or Palmeiras and be a legend there. The wages would be less than Saudi Arabia, but he would be home. Some people have mentioned MLS in the United States as another option. American clubs love signing big-name players even if they are past their peak. Casemiro would be a massive star in MLS. He could probably play there for another 2 or 3 years quite comfortably. Wherever he goes, Casemiro will have plenty of options. Players with his resume and his name recognition do not struggle to find clubs. The only question is what his priorities are. Does he want maximum money? Does he want to go home? Does he want a new challenge? Time will tell. The legacy he leaves. When we look back on Casemiro's time at Manchester United in the years to come, what will we remember? We will remember the trophies. The League Cup and FA Cup wins that ended years of drought. We will remember him lifting those trophies at Wembley with a huge smile on his face. We will remember the big performances. The Manchester Derby wins. The games where he completely dominated the midfield and made it look easy. The times when he scored crucial goals when United needed them most. We will remember what he represented. He was proof that United could still attract world-class players. He was a symbol of ambition and quality. He showed young players what it takes to win at the highest level. But we will also remember the struggles. This final season where his legs could not keep up anymore. The mistakes that led to goals. The yellow and red cards. The frustration of watching a great player decline. The truth is, legacies are complicated. Casemiro gave United some great moments. He also had some difficult times. But on balance, his signing was successful. 2 trophies in less than 3 seasons. 146 appearances. Real leadership and experience. United fans should be grateful for what he brought to the club. What fans should do now? As supporters, we have a role to play in Casemiro's final months at United. We need to show him the respect and appreciation he deserves. Not just for what he has done, but for how he has conducted himself. When Casemiro plays at Old Trafford, sing his name. Let him know you appreciate his efforts. Let him feel the love from the crowd. These moments matter to players. They remember how fans treated them at the end. Do not focus on the mistakes or the bad performances. Focus on the good times. Focus on the trophies. Focus on what he brought to this club when United really needed it. That is how you treat a player who gave his all for your team. And when his final game comes, whenever that is, make it special. Give him a proper send-off. Make sure he leaves Old Trafford knowing how much he meant to United fans. That is the classy thing to do. That is what a club like Manchester United should be about. The pressure is on United's leadership. This situation puts enormous pressure on United's recruitment team and decision-makers. They cannot afford to get this wrong. The club's future depends on replacing Casemiro successfully. Ineos and the new structure at United will be judged on how they handle this summer. Do they identify the right targets? Do they negotiate good deals? Do they bring in players who can actually perform at this level? This is their first real test. Michael Carrick will also be under pressure. If he is still manager in the summer, he will have input on which players United sign. He will need to integrate new midfielders into the team. He will need to create a system that works without Casemiro. That is a big challenge. The fans will be watching everything closely. United supporters have seen too many transfer windows go wrong. Too many expensive mistakes. Too many players who did not work out. This summer needs to be different. This summer needs to show that United have finally learned from past errors. A fork in the road for Manchester United. Casemiro leaving represents a genuine crossroads for Manchester United. The decisions made this summer will shape the club for years to come. Get it right and United could build a strong young midfield that lasts for a decade. Get it wrong and United could spend years struggling to find stability. This is not just about replacing one player. It is about setting a direction. It is about showing what kind of club United want to be. Do they want to build long-term with young talent? Or do they want quick fixes with experienced players? The choice they make will tell us everything. The next 4 months are crucial. Casemiro has that long to help United achieve something special. To push for a trophy. To secure Champions League football. To give the fans memories that last. And then he will be gone. Stay with United Daily Updates through this journey. Here at United Daily Updates, we will be following this story every step of the way. We will track Casemiro's performances over his final months. We will cover every transfer rumor about potential replacements. We will give you honest analysis about what United need to do. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel because the next few months are going to be massive for Manchester United. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. We are going to be putting out content regularly as this situation develops. Leave a comment and tell us your thoughts. Are you sad to see Casemiro leaving? Do you think United can replace him properly? Who should they target in the summer? We want to hear from you. Your opinions matter and we read every single comment. Share this video with other United fans. Make sure everyone knows what is happening. Make sure the whole community is informed and ready for what comes next. We are all in this together as United supporters. The Casemiro era at Manchester United is coming to an end. It has been emotional. It has been successful. It has had its ups and downs. But above all, it has been genuine. Casemiro gave everything for this club. He played with passion and pride. He showed up in big moments. And for that, every United fan should say thank you. Now United need to look forward. They need to find the next great midfielder. They need to build something that lasts. They need to show that this club is heading in the right direction. The next few months will tell us if they are up to the challenge. Come on, United. Let us give Casemiro the send-off he deserves. Let us finish this season strong. And let us prepare for a summer that could define the future of this football club. Thanks for watching United Daily Updates. We will see you in the next one.